Sonic the Comics, Sonic the Summer Special. We start out with some blindfolded Mobians being sent down the tube into Sonic's secret base as Amy is smirking and Tails is smiling. The Mobian is happy to take the blindfold off, and Sonic explains that it's a secret base, calling them pups, so they'd like to keep it that way. That's really smart. They're making sure that even the random civilians don't know where their base is, so Eggman can torture them to get the information about it. The Mobian tells him that his son left home to join a cult called the Followers of Dr. Sun. Sonic briefly complains that his base isn't a missing persons bureau, and only agrees to help because he's bored and wants excitement, smirking at the chance. The heroes go to Mystic Cave, fight some badniks, and Tails saves Sonic from spikes by catching him while flying, with Sonic, rather than thanking him, telling Tails not to let it go to his head after Tails compliments himself just once. Then he calls Tails an idiot for flying to the ceiling, the kid's competence immediately being undercut. He briefly tries to climb the spikes like a ladder until he realizes they're electrically charged, and he tells the dazed Tails that this would be a real good time to wake up. Wait, was he just assuming that Tails would wake up after he would climb up those stairs? Because otherwise he'd just be leaving to be crushed by the spikes. Tails asks if it's morning already and is told to fly up and pull a handle, pulling back the spikes. Sonic then tells him that he did good, but to not cut it so close next time. And Tails asks if he's teasing him with a blank expression. Well, considering that Sonic said that he did good, I can understand why he's confused. The story ends with him meeting the cult. In the next story, Eggman is given a flying machine, and Grimer tells him not to touch the Mega Attack lever. He says he wants to try it and get into the machine to make it hammer a Sonic statue. Then he immediately tries to use the device on Grimer. I guess he assumes he's replaceable and won't actually kill him with that. Grimer tells him that he's going to touch the Mega lever that was untested, and it causes the hammer to electrocute itself with pink electricity and attack the machine itself, with Eggman having a headache afterwards. And that's the entire story, but it was really charming, so it was worth it. Oh wait, I have to talk about the character profile for Tails here. This is ridiculous. It says that when Tails came to want more from life than his home could offer, he left to make his fortune in the Emerald Hill Zone because he thought the streets were paved with real emeralds. Honestly, that does make sense. They'd assume that because it's a fantasy universe with magic all over it. So maybe the emeralds would be created, like, maybe emeralds would actually be there. It's not a stupid mistake to make, it just happened to not be true and happens to be that reality set in. And then it literally says, but no one ever claims that brains was one of them. Except for literally every other Tails in the continuity other than the old Sonic cartoons. That's really weird and amusing. Tails is totally devoted to Sonic. And others believe that he is just stupid. And don't tell that to Sonic, that I'm being a double act. Yeah, it really shows their unique dynamic, I think. In the next story, Tails can't outrun some flying badniks, and then he goes through the woods to make some of them crash into trees. Some more of them try to hit him with lasers, and he takes cover in a dark cave. For some reason, it's Tails who has the night vision, and not the robots. Granted, he is a magical fox from a magical zone of foxes, so maybe he's a darkness kid to me. But I'd expect robots to have night vision. He destroys the robots, and then he gets ambushed by one badnik that Sonic needs to save him from. And then I'm giving an enraging ending, as Sonic doesn't believe Tails about the badniks Tails did destroy, and we never get to see Tails show him the remains of the badniks that he destroyed. Seriously, why? If I were Tails, I would have punched him! How dare he not believe him? Hasn't he destroyed any robots in front of Sonic before? Like, usually I just find Sonic's abusive brotherhood with Tails fascinating and entertaining, but holy crap, at times like this, it's just enraging. In the fourth story, some civilians look up as the sun strikes a cloud in a way that makes it appear there might be something solid hidden beneath it. Then we see a metallic island in the sky that Knuckles is the only inhabitant of, and he's lived here all his life. But one day he knows that his people will return. How? That will never be explained. Then he sees a meteor about to hit the island, as the narration says it seems his waiting might be over. It impacts Ice Cap Zone, and Knuckles takes the Zoom Tube, not the Zoot Tube, as a shortcut there. And a message from the metallic meteor tells Knuckles that he's trapped inside and wants him to follow a remote camera to him. How could the person who is trapped inside possibly know that one of the people on the island would actually agree to help him? Knuckles wonders if he's one of his own people out of desperation and isn't lied to. He's led to Eggman's space satellite, being lied to, and he says that he has all of the floating island Chaos Emeralds, saying, how else would the floating island be able to fly? I guess this comic forgot about the Master Emerald too. Then the issue is nice enough to continue the first story. The cult leader, who looks at peace, wishes that he could have given Sonic a safe route here and says that he offers these young people a safe haven from Eggman. I wonder if the comic's gonna arbitrarily make him evil anyways, because that would have been predictable. Although making a cult actually perfectly well-meaning would be a terrible lesson for the kids. Sonic is shown a library full of comics. About Sonic, right? There's also a recreation room with video games. And Sonic says, "I've eyes, kid," in response to Tails being a Captain Obvious. I wouldn't be so suspicious if the kids didn't all look so bored and listless. Instead, they seem to be giving the game away right from the very beginning with their hypnotized expressions. And then there's the clumsiest foreshadowing of all, as the cult leader says an egg pun at the door to salvation. Sonic says that the kid likes it here and he can't just drag him away. Finally, he realizes what the egg pun means, when he should have figured that out right away. Of course, he takes away the disguise of the cult leader and reveals Eggman, who somehow was disguised as a much skinnier cult leader who looks nothing like him. And after he runs away, with Sonic arbitrarily not going after him to beat him senseless, Sonic finds a machine for turning Emerald Hill folk into badniks. Sonic tells Tails with a smile to give him some space, as Eggman returns in the Eggmobile, and after Sonic dodges his lasers, he's a good audience surrogate by saying he's always wanted to go a ride in an Eggmobile, and says that it has nice handling and acceleration, and jumps out while saying it has lousy brakes. Tails stupidly says with a smile that he did that on purpose, with Sonic tamely lampshading his Captain Obvious remark, and the story ends with Eggman escaping and the heroes freeing people from the building. Nigel Kitching wrote the entirety of this issue, but was totally uncredited, which you'd think would be illegal, but whatever. The first story is almost predictable as you can get. I figured that the cult leader would turn out to be evil as the predictable twist the minute that we saw him acting good, despite totally looking peaceful and nice to the kids. Because showing a cult as good and harmless would be a really bad message to the kids. I mean, I'm sure there are nice and harmless cults out there, but why risk it with the existence of the bad ones? But it turned out that the cult leader was Eggman, even though he was skinnier than him, so there's no way he could have disguised himself as someone skinny. We didn't need that, we could have just had him be a separate agent of him. Or better yet, not be working for Eggman at all and had his own agenda, like I was expecting. It's just a plan to trick people into being put into badniks. You would think that all that money that Eggman had to spend on the video games and recreation room would make this not worth it, instead of just capturing them. The second story has Eggman get himself hurt by an experimental lever on a machine while trying to hurt his own scientist. It was ultimately pointless, but charming and had some good karma against Robotnik. And the third story just had an enraging ending. Why didn't Tails show Sonic the remains of the badniks he destroyed? Sonic didn't believe him about thrashing a few little badniks? I just wanted to punch him after that! Did the writers of this comic hate Tails or something? I know he inconveniences you in the Sonic 2 special stages, but still. Oh yeah, and there's a story where Knuckles is tricked by Eggman, briefly hoping that he'll see his people again. Sorry buddy, wrong comic. Once again, there's nothing to say, summary's already over. This is the problem with making plots too basic. A good but overly short story becomes nothing to write home about when you remember it. There won't be another real special until over 100 issues afterwards, which is a relief.